So, got a request for some Henry Rollins for President t-shirts and glassware. And this is the layout in Illustrator. I'm using a co-cut plugin with a Rollins vinyl cutter. About 14 inch white vinyl we're going to be using for the masking. So you take here, you gotta select everything, and then through Illustrator it basically just sends the outline of what you're looking for to the vinyl cutter. So there's the outline. You can see there I've got two coffee cups, 2 pint glasses. That's an extra for the coffee cups in case I run into an issue with the masking. And the large one for the screen print stencil. I'm actually going to try to do screen printing on this version rather than the transfer material, which is kind of like the vinyl where you would cut it and iron it on. It's actually screen printing minus the emulsion and how they normally do it. You can look into that if you're interested. Anyway, I'm going to hit print, and basically it renders the all the little lines for the vinyl cutter. There it is. Cut Studio. Cut. And it's pretty instant. You're firing up. Well, vinyl cutter's got a little needle in there. Trace it out, cuts it out, and then I gotta get to work weeding all this stuff. I'm hoping that the text on these small 3-inchers isn't going to be too small to weed. Sometimes you run into that. So if you can imagine, all the stuff that you see in white needs to be picked out by hand. So all these little details like in the eye, you got to go in there and pick all that stuff out once you cut it. Okay. Now that part's done. You see those little lines in there. And that's the stuff we got to pick out. All that great little stuff in there. What I got here is a little squeegee for applying the vinyl later, and X-Acto knife, and some blades. Fresh new blade there. Want to be nice and sharp. Well, here you can see I've got a piece of it started. You got to be careful because there's little pieces in here. You can see that will come out with the masking. See, like that little guy right there. You got to push those back in. So that's one done. Here's what comes out. So I got luckily only 2 of these little guys. This is only about 3 inches tall. The other ones are going to be a little bit bigger for the pint glasses. We got these glasses here, which are the 3-inch, and here we have the 16-ounce pint glasses. So these are going to be for the 4-inchers, and these guys should, I'm hoping, oh, look right on there. It's going to be somewhere in that range. So we'll see. I'm going to do the rest of these, and I'll be right. Okay, so now everything's weeded. That's what you call it when you pick all that stuff out of there. It's the big one here that once I cut it up, I'm going to mount on this screen, which I made up of some scrap lumber, and I bought the screen online from Dick Blick, I think. The same stuff that they use for the real deal screen printing. And I'm going to mount this on there. The other 2 we're going to go mask off right now. Okay, so now we're down here at the masking table I made up here. Got a little bracket clamps on, some PVC. And I basically got a big roll of masking. Just kind of like masking tape, only you're going to put it on top of that, so when you do go to mount everything, take the backer off of here, all these letters are, separate. So if you were to peel the backer off now, they would just come off and you'd have no way. So this stuff covers it up. So here's your big piece here. And you want to be as smooth as possible. You don't want too many wrinkles. So you start that, you're all set. And then back up here, got some light. I'm just going to take the squeegee and rub these out. So the masking sticks to all those little details in there. See what all those little pieces are. You want this vinyl to stick to the front now, not the back. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So now I've got these cut up. Just doesn't really matter what they look like because you're going to end up taping around all the other stuff that you're not sandblasting anyway. So here's that. We're going to go see here. A little bit of peel up there. See how the layers stick? You want to make sure you don't get that, so just hit it back. Get something sticking. Just push down on the vinyl, get it back in there. This stuff is especially difficult because it's small. Generally working on a larger scale is much easier. When I get these little orders, I always think to myself, oh, that's easy stuff. But then you start doing this and you realize how much time is actually involved. I don't know if I'm really making as much money as I should for this stuff, but we'll see. So there it is. That's what it's going to look like once you etch. So now we've got the two on the coffee mugs done. Sometimes you get these mugs have a slight curve to them. I don't know if you can see that, but they curve a little bit. So you end up getting these deals where you have to kind of cut a slit and then overlap the two pieces because it doesn't quite make it flat. The pint glasses are easier because there's no contour in them. And generally what I do when I get to the bottom like this, where you see this sticker isn't very sticky, I'll just take one of the butane lighters, just kind of heat it up real quick, and then you can kind of push it down, because you're going to be blasting 90 psi at these things through this thin piece of vinyl. So you want to make sure there's no bubbles or anything that'll peel up, because that'll destroy your whole thing and then you got to start over. And you really don't want to be weeding out this little stuff more than you have to. So there's two. Okay, so there's that. Get the center line, and then I try to even up this lower band with the bottom of the glass so it's parallel, so you don't have any offness. These are much easier to mount because, like I said, the glasses are flat from the sides. You know, there's no contour to them. Now what you do is you take the mask and you peel back the mask, because now that all these things are actually mounted to the glassware, you can peel off this outside edge. Again, one-handed, not necessarily the best way to go, but you guys get the idea. And then we're going to mask around this, so when you sandblast you don't get lines in this clear area, because you want to pretty much protect everything but what you're looking to do here. So I'm going to do the other one and then we'll mask them off. I use two different types of tape. The painter's tape for the bulk of it, and then the packing tape with the clear view is much better for the front side, where you're going to tape like around these edges and stuff around here on the sides, where it's a little more critical because you are going to be blasting pretty much right on these areas. So what's around here, not so much of a big deal because it's on the back side, you're not going to hit it directly with the sandblaster. Okay, so I've coated the edges with the plastic tape. You can see the overlap there. And then the green, I usually just put it on the top and kind of fold it down like that. Nothing's really going to get in there, but this just stops any overspray. So when you're blasting, you're not going to get anything on the edge. You're not going to destroy anything. It doesn't really matter what it looks like at this point. My last thing before I actually go sandblasting is just to make sure that there's nothing pulling up on any of the lettering or the mask. Okay, so we're downstairs at the sandblaster. Always, if you're going to sandblast, wear a dust mask. I know this is probably not even as good as it should be for what I'm doing down here, but there's a door right here, so I can kind of open it up and escape. Once I open up the sandblaster and the stuff starts pouring out in the air, I can get out there and check my work before I start breathing in all that dust, because that is nasty stuff. We're going to go ahead and set the regulated pressure to somewhere in the 80 to 90 region. So you want it for when you're hitting, you're going to get about 90, so right about 80. I'm going to go a little less because these are a little delicate, being so small. I'm going to start there. It doesn't have to be super scientific. Starting off small is always a good way to go, because then you're not worried about breaking any masking or having to start over. It's better for me to turn the overhead light on and just have the inside one on, because as you can see, I took the inside protective sheet off, so now the whole top is just burned to shit. It's all just blasted. That's not good. So eventually I have to replace this, but for now, if I kill the light, kind of can see in there now. So at least I have a better idea of what area I'm blasting, so I know that I'm doing the right section at least. So here's this. I'm going to load up the glassware and get ready to blast. So here we go. Position it parallel in front of the glass. Pretty much a couple, less than an inch or two away. So you can see that stuff coming out. That is nasty stuff. So we're going to take this outside. See exactly how far we got with it. It's actually not looking too bad. It's a pretty good start. I'm just going to hit it one more time. Okay, so I just went ahead and finished both. You can see the tone of it totally changed. Okay, we got them all done, all blasted. One of the last steps here is to remove all this shit now. You got to take all the plastic and all that nice sticker we took all that time making and weeding is now for naught. So we rinse it off, get that started. Usually try to do it in some warm water if I can. There it is. That's pretty much one done. These pint glasses are solid too, so you hear me slamming it against the sink. It's alright. These things will last forever. So, here we are. Just finished wiping them off and drying them. Here's what you get. Now I still gotta do the shirts for this client, but that's the deal. Henry Rollins. These came out real nice. As far as the masks, there's no blowouts, no weird edges. Everything is nice and solid. You can hear there's kind of a little groove where you etch, so you can tell that stuff's pretty deep. I could just touch it, you know, I could just blast it so it's fine haze. And that's the set of Rollins for President. Cheers. So next is going to be same idea with this guy.